2, 1. We are live. Hello, world. Success is for everyone, baby. You're live on the set with Kareem Jackson. Yes, let's go.
Hello everyone, again this is Kareem Jackson. Kareem Antonio Jackson. Kareem Antonio Jackson. Kareem Antonio Jackson. You are live. You are back live. You are live on the set. And I want to thank you so much for being here. You are going to love what we have in store for you this year. Wait till you see it. Stay tuned.
Hey, you guys, Kareem Jackson, you are live on the set, and I'm going to take you around the world with me. My dream as a minimalist CEO, turning my clients' dreams into reality is what I do, showing that success is truly for everyone. Hey, you guys, I've got new shows weekly. Stay tuned and live your best life. Good morning. Hi, everybody. How are you in America? Good evening to you, America. How are you this evening, America? Great show today, you guys. If you can hear me out there, just say what's up. Give me a click. Give me a something like that. If you're live from Facebook, live from YouTube, breakthrough.com, I'm so glad you are here. We have a fantastic show today. If you can hear me, say what's up. Let me know. Can you hear me out there? Can you hear me? My voice is very clear. This is a great show today, you guys. We've got the U.S. Ambassador, Harry Thomas, on the show later on. We're talking about vote, you guys. You've got to vote. The power of the absentee ballot is crazy. The power of the vote, all of that is amazing right now. I think I get someone great on the show to talk to me about that with you guys. You guys can ask questions. I can get some answers. I can get my own questions because right now, if you're abroad, there's like 8.7 million people abroad, you guys, Americans abroad. You can still vote. I know you know that. And if you guys understand something, no matter who you vote for, this is a crazy important election, you guys. So we have got to make sure that our absentee voting ballots are done, that you guys are all registered. And I want to give you guys some information and some insights from someone that is so cool. So if you guys are out there, love you all. Say what's up, shout out, share this, like this. We're bringing Harry Thomas in later in the show, you guys. So stay tuned, share it, like it. You guys out there, tell everybody about this because you are an expat. Or if you're wondering what's going on in America right now with all the protesting, the weekend was crazy with the guy shot 7 times, you guys. We're talking a little bit about that. And this show is going to be really good for you. So we got about a minute left, you guys. Stay tuned. Grab some coffee, grab a cocktail, grab a snack, get your breakfast, and come on back. Hey you guys, Kareem Jackson, you were live on the set. I've got some news to tell you. 10 years ago, I left California, USA on the beach, and I got on a plane. I went to the tropics and I reinvented myself. I wanted to turn my dreams into reality. I had a great time, great friend. I published magazines, books. I meditated. I sipped coconuts, you guys. I had tattoo competition, weekly shows, and I want you guys to know I sat down and I wanted to write step by step how I did it. How did I get free? How did I outsource everything? How did I get to where I could run my company from my laptop? And now I finished it. It is done. My new book, you guys, Outsource Everything, is out now. I finished it. I'm telling you all about how I gained my freedom, how I live in the tropics next to the beach in a beautiful lifestyle, and I still run my business. I outsource everything. My new ebook, it's out now, you guys. It's available right now, you guys. I made it to where freedom is here for you. You can get the same freedom that I did. It's totally possible and it's totally doable. And this has never been a better time than to do it. Grab my new ebook, Outsource Everything, on Google Play and the App Store, you guys. And of course, KareemAntonio.com/my ebook. Outsource Everything. Outsource Everything, How to Be a Minimalist CEO by Kareem Jackson. An introduction for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Presented by K&Co America and the Chunkston Group.
To break free.
Oh my God, you guys are still here. Hey, okay, you guys, I'm so glad you're still here. I'm so glad you stuck around to the end because I want to show you some more about my book. I'm so excited about this. Outsource Everything, out now, you guys. It's out now. Go grab it. On my website, you guys, KareemAntonio.com. You can go to the App Store, any of these places, and go grab it. I want you to sit down, ponder this, and think about, why do I have the stress I have? Why am I working so hard? Why am I a slave to my business? Why do I not have more freedom? There's folks all over the world looking that can outsource to you. I'm going to introduce you to this, tell you why you don't need that new car, you don't need that bling bling, you don't need that house right now. Outsource everything. Get free. What good is that money? What good is all that fame and fortune if you are working every day like it's a job? Freedom is here. It's here for you, you guys. Grab my ebook, you guys. Outsource Everything. Google Play, the App Store, and of course, KareemAntonio.com/my ebook. Go grab it, you guys.
A failed president. The worst economy in U.S. history. More Americans have died in this 4-month period than ever before. Donald Trump's response? Stop the election. He can't win. We voted during the wars. We voted in the Great Depression. We voted when civil unrest swept the country. Americans died for our right to vote. Americans marched for our right to vote. Americans were beaten and brutalized for our right to vote. Now a failed president faces defeat, with millions out of work and tens of thousands dying from his incompetence and neglect, threatening the very foundations of democracy. Donald Trump, here's the message. We will vote. We will defend America. We will throw you and your failed cronies out of office. The choice, America or Trump.
The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Hey, you guys, Kareem Jackson, you are live on the set, and I'm going to take you around the world with me. Live my dream as a minimalist CEO. Turning my clients' dreams into reality is what I do, showing that success is truly, truly for everyone. Hey, you guys, I've got new shows weekly. Stay tuned and live your best life. Best life. Best life. Best life.
If you're sitting here telling me that there was no way to subdue that gentleman, or detain him, or to just before the firing of guns, then you're sitting here, you're lying to not only me, you're lying to every African American, every Black person in the community, because we see it over and over and over. There was multiple, if you watch the video, there was multiple moments where if they wanted to, they could have tackled him, they could have grabbed him. You know, they could have done that. And why why does it always have to get to a point where we see the guns firing and his family is there, the kids are there, it's in broad daylight, and who knows? I mean, if that video is not being taken by that person across the street, do we even know if we even see that video?
You overused it. That's what you did. You shot him numerous times for no reason. It didn't take all that. Disregard that my kids was in the car at all. And you knew they was in there because I kept screaming that before y'all even made it to the other side of the driver's side to get him in the car. I've been yelling that the whole time. Let me get my kids.
It's just quite frankly, it's just in our community. And us, I know people get tired of hearing me say it, but we are scared as Black people in America. Black men, Black women, Black kids, we are terrified.
Shit!
What is he on?
He's trying not to use his gun.
Everybody, hello. How are you? Hope you are doing good out there. Hope you are seeing me clearly. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. I had to show that long, crazy intro because, as you know, we prepare for these shows weekly, and a lot has happened over the last week, you guys. It's been craziness. As you know, the Jacob situation. 7 shots in the back, you guys, in the United States. The world is talking about it. If you guys are known, I'm Kareem Jackson. You guys are live on the set. I'm here in the Philippines Islands, you guys, and I usually help woke entrepreneurs to, minimize their cluttered lifestyles, to outsource their business processes to make more money and profit while they do it. But of course, a lot of issues pertaining to entrepreneurs around the world, you guys, and this show is mainly about hot topics and things to, how to become an entrepreneur, how to quit your job, all this great stuff. But of course, weekly, I like to have a guest on the show who is very important to entrepreneurs and issues that affect us, you guys. And right now, you guys, I know everyone's asking me, in the States, the number one question we have right now is, how do I get out of here? Or how do I become an entrepreneur and then get out of here? Because a lot of folks don't have jobs, you guys. A lot of folks are wondering what to do today, the next day, how to live day to day. And of course, then there's, in the midst of all of this, there's this crazy racist, crazy stuff going on. There's this craziness about shooting blacks and the police in the States, and racism on the other hand, and then Trump, and then of course Biden, and then the Republicans and the Democrats. It is ridiculous right now. But at the end of the day, you guys, I'm abroad. I'm an entrepreneur and I've lived all over the world, you guys. I left the States about 10 years ago, and it has been a phenomenal life change for me. You guys know my story. You guys know this. If you guys are looking at me live on Facebook or on YouTube or on our station, on our creamantonio.com, you guys see it right now. You know me. But at the end of the day, you guys, abroad, one thing that I want to make sure everyone knows, with all that crap going on at home, you guys see the news, you guys see what's going on. I'm not sure how people in America see it, but if you're abroad, if you're one of, I think it's 8.7 million of us living abroad, you guys see that crap and you're like, oh my God, what is going on? And most of us know we can vote, we can absentee vote, you guys. We can be part of this situation. We can repost, we can share, we can make sure our family knows, because BS aside, if you're Black or a minority expat and you're around the world, you worry about your family. You really wonder, how are they? You see this news and you know it's crazy real. After that shooting, of course, the reason they showed the gunshot is because after that, of course, then this white kid, 17 years old, goes out where this all happened, and he kills 2 protesters and then wounds about 3 or 4 others after that. So after that freaking shooting, then there's a protest. They tear up crap. Then here comes the military police, and the police are the National Guard, and then this kid, a kid, 17 years old, you guys, he should be freaking in school, right? But he's not. So he's in there and he kills protesters. By the way, FYI, white protesters protesting this treatment in the States. So now there's civilians involved, vigilantes, and then now there's civilians that are dead, white guys now that have died for a black cause. This is like 1960 all over again. But a lot of us abroad don't know what's going on. So I try to bring these guests on so we can kind of talk to them and say, like, what's happening back home? What's going on? And then you guys can ask questions. And of course, right now, you guys, we have got to vote. No doubt about it, you guys. We've got to get the absentee ballots. You've got to vote. And if you're here, you guys are abroad, talk to your family back home in the States and tell them, you guys, the world is out here. You see all the protests globally. If you're watching this from the United States, the world is protesting with you guys. The world is protesting with us. And so I wanted to bring in a great, great guest today, you guys. My guest today, you guys, is a really awesome, awesome guy. His name is Harry Thomas, you guys. He's one of the friends that I've had for a few years now, quite a few years, actually, back in the days when we were very young. Harry Thomas is fantastic, and he's been an ambassador around the world, a couple of places, but he's been in civil service for a very, very long time. So I'm really happy to have him on today because I really want to ask him some questions since he has lived around the world, since he has been, a diplomat around the world and for numerous years, back to back, by the way. So he's a great source for us all to understand about absentee ballots. And a lot of folks in the States that are listening, this is great for you too, because the issue about the whole absentee mail-in ballot thing that they're telling you in the States, I don't know what they're talking about. I've been mailing in an absentee ballot since I was out of high school, because out of high school, I joined the Air Force. So I want to introduce you to Harry Thomas. Harry Thomas, he's an honorable guy. He's so wonderful. Harry's one of the first in his family, you guys, from New York City, USA, to achieve, I think, his college degree, if I remember when we were talking personally some years back, and at least to achieve what he has achieved. He's one of the first in his family. He's one of those breakout kids, you guys. Harry was the first Black American ambassador to serve in the Philippines, you guys. Tell me that's not crazy. And he was appointed by Obama, so it was during that era. So imagine we got our first Black president. They got their first Black ambassador in the Philippines. I mean, the world was seeing us so diverse, so inclusive, and so everything. That was so wonderful. That was a great time. He also served, you guys, by the way, in New Delhi, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, and Peru in his career, you guys. So this guy has lived his life, like me, abroad. So absentees, mailing votes in, and things like that, it's very important. You've got to do it. You guys know all about it. And at the end of the day, this is how you do it. Harry Thomas, I don't want to stop there with Brother Harry. Harry is a true success story, you guys. When he was in the Philippines, then he met the love of his life. It has a fairy tale, ending to it. He met the love of his life, you guys, in the Philippines Islands, and a tropical beauty. He's since married. They built a fabulous family. So this guy is really, really, really living the American dream. And he's like a lot of us, you guys. And plus, who better to ask about absentee ballot voting that you guys have been asking me about besides him? So I thought this would be a great time to bring him on, you guys, and a great time for you guys to meet this wonderful gentleman here. But if you guys are in the States right now, or if you're in the States, understand there's folks here. We're abroad. We are looking at you guys. We love you guys. We are crazy upset about what's going on in the States, and we all want you guys to know that and understand that too. We see it. We don't understand it. Most of us, what all that we can do out here abroad is to market, to use our platforms. But we're here abroad. A lot of foreigners support the Black Americans and the Black Lives Matter movement. This is my Black Lives Matter Philippines here, by the way. I got my fabulous cup. But what we can do for you back home in the States, you guys, we can still vote. Okay, keep that in mind. We can still vote. So this is not one of those things where we're just watching from abroad and we can't do anything. If we're an American and we are abroad, we still can vote. So at the end of the day, you guys, we're here for you, and we're going to bring on more about this information later on, because we want you guys to understand more about why we should vote. So this show today, you guys, if you're there, you can chime in. I appreciate it. I see you guys. Thank you, Sheik. Love you. I appreciate that. Appreciate the love, brother. Joel, thank you very much. If you guys are looking here on your Facebook and YouTube, share this. Later, we're going to have Harry Thomas here to talk to you guys about this. But I really wanted to get with you guys to understand, if you're abroad, you guys, you need to vote. You need to still get that absentee ballot. I'm not sure. We're going to talk to Harry and ask him questions. But it used to be that you can go, for example, to the Elks Lodge or to the VA and places like that. Of course, the embassy, places like that, to go ahead and see about getting your absentee votes. Let me get they got me choked up here this morning. So you need to find out about that and see how you can actually do that. How can we make that happen for ourselves? So that's one thing I wanted to really showcase to you guys to understand that you still can. Okay, I'm back. I had to give a little cough there. You guys get a little, got the air conditioner in the studio going this morning. But if you guys are out there, you guys are expats, you guys can touch base and tell me about any questions you guys have about absentee ballots. We're going to ask about that. I've got some other commercials and things like that we'll play. All of them are kind of centered around voting, so you guys can see these vote.orgs and things like that where you guys can vote. And you can figure out if you're on the absentee ballot. Tons of groups on Facebook, you guys, also telling you about this stuff. If you're a foreigner, you guys, let me go ahead and read my script here a little bit to you, because if you're a foreigner, I want you to understand something real quick. You guys may think that we are not valuable, but I'll tell you, when it comes down to it, let me see here. It says that now that there's an estimated 8.7 million American expats around the world, you guys. 8.7 million. Of course, this is probably a late number since, since Trump came into office. And then since, of course, this just recent 2, 3, 4 months, there's probably more and more expats going abroad. So keep that in mind. The number's probably up. So 8.7 million around the world, you guys, according to the AARO. And 3 million of those are registered, that they said back then. So we've got to get the other, 5 million expats, you guys. You've got to register to vote now. You've got to get out there and get this absentee ballot, because it's your right. It's part of what it's your right. So you need to go ahead and do it. Keep involved, because at the end of the day, what they're saying here, that 8.7 or that 3 million actually that are registered to vote, understand this, not per capita and per population, but per voting power, you guys. Expats who are able to vote and do vote represent the markets like Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Tucson. So imagine all of those cities, that's what expats represent. So we can easily, as expats, be a swing state. We can easily influence and push the things that we care about as well, because many of us are abroad, either supporting our families back home. We're either military, like I was in the past. We're diplomats, like Harry Thomas was. Maybe you're athletes, maybe you're artists, maybe you're in business. So of course, you're working between the US and of course the country that you're in. So at the end of the day, we're watching and we care about America, and we want to be able to influence it. And I think that more people, more expats, you guys, we need to understand the power of the absentee ballot and understand that we need to have that. Plus, more and more Americans, I want you guys to understand through the show, you guys, today, more and more of you guys understand that when it comes down to it, you guys, we're watching you, bro. We see what you guys are going through. We are shocked. And the world is with you right now. You see the protest in Berlin, everywhere. You see it. And everyone understand this too. When I show the LeBron James clip, because I want you guys to understand that when it comes down to it, athletes, Black American athletes, entrepreneurs, business people, diplomats, politicians, we've always, throughout history, we've always been the ones that are actually in the trenches and have stood up for equality in the United States and around the world. That's not new for us. A lot of folks see the protests and wonder what's going on. Why are, Black Americans, or why is everyone so angry? But then in the day, you got to think back. Now they're fighting for voting. How can you vote? Is it going to be mail-in? They're arguing about voting, postponing things, pushing things back. These protests are what is democracy is all about. This is what it is. The fact that when I was young, my grandmother, right, her generation are the ones that now we enjoy the fact that foreigners, Filipinos, Africans, everyone can have a job in the States, can live in many neighborhoods, not all yet, but many neighborhoods. The fact that you can even use a public toilet or a public water fountain. You may think it's a long time ago, but that's not a long time ago. The fact that we can even vote at all, especially women. There was a time when women in America could not vote. Have you forgotten? And protests are what made that happen. And typically it's Black women, first of all, who head those up. Then comes in Black men, maybe LGBTQ community, all of those step in. Let's not forget that it wasn't that long ago. It's not like this is hundreds and hundreds. It's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years, but it wasn't that long ago. So this fairly new right to vote by minorities and women in America, including all of the immigrants in America. If you're Filipino, if you're a Filipino citizen, if you're an African citizen, if you're a Mexican American, if you're any of these people, Indian American, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, don't forget the protests are why you can even vote at all. So the fact that we as expats represent LA, Tucson, and Philadelphia with the power that we have for our absentee ballots, that speaks volumes, you guys. So there's never been more of a focus, you guys, in the United States than right now on the Postal Service. So right now, the Postal Service to me, which this is amazing to me that they're actually attacking the USPS, because I've grown up abroad over my life. And I know that the Postal Service, American USPS, right? That is like a beacon. Every movie, every Christmas card, every Santa to North Pole card, all of these things, that USPS to me represented America abroad many, many years ago. If you were fighting a war, if you were an expat, you waited for that USPS postcard, that letter, those things like that to come out. You waited for that. You collected stamps when you were a kid. I did a few, I gotta admit. But you collected stamps when you were a kid, and now they're having an issue with funding. They're having an issue with being able to make it to where the voting situation in America is actually going to happen or not going to happen because of funding from the federal government. That is crazy to me. So if you guys have any opinions about that, chime in. We're gonna talk about this later on, but I want to set the platform for the show today, you guys. If you think about it, way back in the day, from the Postal Service, I can't even explain. It's very shocking to me because as a Black American who has traveled the world, I've always used mail-in ballots and absentee ballot. It's never been a thought. It's never been an issue. So it's really questionable to me why all of a sudden, instead of America stepping up to the plate and being the leader and using the U.S. Postal Service, who, by the way, you guys, the Marvelettes have a song in 1961, Mr. Postman, okay? Hollywood movies are showcasing USPS. If you look at all these billionaires today, Bezos, all these guys, they wouldn't even be FedEx, right? They wouldn't even be what they were without the infrastructure that the USPS put down for them. I've got friends who have retired, live well, fabulous homes, great health benefits, things like that, working for the Postal Service in the United States. So this institution, which has set the pathway for everyone, has made it to where everyone may think about our president votes using the Postal Service, using his mail-in absentee ballot. So I want everyone that's listening to understand that you guys, if you're a foreigner and you're an expat out here, you guys, you have got to really figure out where you're going to go in your country. Harry, I'm sure, has some good ideas for you as well, because he's done it personally. He worked with the embassy, of course, as a U.S. ambassador, and he's also been, in service in the military in other countries too. So he knows it from a service person and from the ambassadorship as well. And I'm sure he has tons of friends, which I know a lot of those that have probably voted as well. So I want his insight on that. But you guys understand, if you're out here, you have got to get the absentee ballot. You've got to vote, because now it means more than ever before. You've got to get this. And as I said before, you guys, the 8.7 million American expats around the world, only 3 million are registered to vote. That's what I'm reading here. And that 3 million number comes from the FBAP, .gov. So there's 5 million of us out here that are not registered, no different than the States. 5 million. And right now, the 3 million are already the same size as the voters in Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Tucson. So we've got to really get people behind the fact that expats, we need to get involved in our back home in America politics. We see the news. Social media has changed the game. There is no excuse right now. I have a client that sent me the video and the pictures from the protest, which ended up being the shooting, right, from the 17-year-old, because the client used to live there. So with social media, we're connected. I saw it before the social media saw it. And of course, I saw it before the freaking 17-year-old kid starts killing people. But at the end of the day, we are connected. There is no excuse. You know what's going down back home. I know a lot of us are angry or frustrated. That's why you left in the first place, especially if you're going to if you're part of the diaspora and you're going to Africa, for example, you may be frustrated. But at the end of the day, you got cousins back home, family back home, sisters back home, aunties, maybe even your own kids are back home. This affects them. And at the least, you can market, you can use your platforms, and you can go out and you can get your absentee ballot and you can vote. That's what you can do. And your voting, I'm going to say it again because it's worth repeating, is the same as Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Tucson. So if the 5.7 million of you that are not registered to vote, that are out here in the world like me, of the 8.7 million, if you register, if you get that absentee ballot, you guys, we are a swing state amongst ourselves. And I do know a lot of expats out here are Trumpers. I know that. I get you guys in my feeds. I know who you are. But whoever you are, doesn't really matter. I'm being very impartial here. Get your absentee vote. Let your voice be heard. Use your platforms. Educate people. Foreigners who are abroad that have many followers or friends or family in the countries where they are. I know they're asking like, what the hell? What the hell is going on with America right now? Explain, educate them, tell them what we're fighting for. The fact that I know that my friend Harry now can take his beautiful Filipino wife back to the States and she has the same rights as any woman in America. That's all out of protest. The fact that you can go to America and you can be a nurse, that came out of protest. The fact that you can get a visa and you can even go there, even y'all white immigrants, okay, including the white immigrants now, because a lot of immigrants, like for example Trump's wife, back in the day, she couldn't vote. She could be there with him, but she couldn't fucking vote. She had no say in it. That came out of protest, and that came out of a vote. Because we don't always just vote for the president, you guys. You can vote local elections, wherever you're from, if you're an expat. You can vote in all of those things and understand that all of the things that we have fought for, our forefathers and our ancestors, I don't mean that's our grandmother, our great-grandmother, and our great-great-great-grandmothers and grandfathers fought for. Right now, a lot of that is in limbo right now. Think about this. It was just a month ago where in America, you guys, no matter where you're from in America, no matter where you're at in the States or whether you're at abroad, LGBTQ rights was voted on just recently. Don't forget that. You could have lost it. You could have been working your job in the States, whether you're an immigrant, whether you're an American, whether you're black, white, or green, and your boss could be like, oh, I don't like fags. I don't like gay dudes. I don't like transgendered. And they could fire you on the spot just for that reason. That was voted on again recently. So this is why voting is important, you guys. You've got to understand that. You really got to understand that important is voting. So you guys, let me go into that number again real quick before we bring on Harry, you guys, about how 8.7. Let me call you out. Here they have estimate. This is an old estimate, so these numbers have probably gone up, okay? Not down, up. In Africa, 171,000 plus of you are in Africa right now listening to this, or possibly your expats. Get your damn absentee ballot and vote, okay? East Asia Pacific, that's where I'm at. 864,000 plus of you are out there. Get your absentee ballot and vote and support and figure out what we're going to do back home. You don't forget your family back home, you guys. You're here in Asia. I'm talking about Thailand. I'm talking about, it probably includes, your Singapore, all those places, the Philippine Islands. Come on, you guys, 800, almost 1 million. In Europe, you guys, I know there's a lot of black folks in Europe, a lot of Asian Americans in Europe, you guys, 1.6 million of you out there in Europe. Get your absentee ballots and vote, you guys. There is time, okay? Near the east, 870,000 over there, okay? South Central Asia, okay, let me 212,000, okay? Western Hemisphere, okay, the whole hemisphere has 2.5 million. So if you guys are in any of these areas, please understand that when you go back home, if you want to go back home to what you left, you need to be participant. You need to watch the news. It doesn't happen all the time. We can all get back to YouTubes and HBOs and Netflix later. But right now, for the next 2 months, Americans back home are fighting for their rights, their lives, all that. No matter what side you're on, this election is very, very key. So have your voice be heard. And one thing I will say to you again, tell your friends if you're abroad, explain to them a history, explain to them so they understand that why it's important to you is because I want to know that if I go back to the States with my Filipino partner, for example, that my partner has rights. That's why. Because in the day, when it comes down to it, we're not voting for random things. When we, and I'm saying we as Black Americans who are protesting, the ones that you see that spark up things that luckily for us, and some people are not happy about this, but the media jumps on those stories, right? And they push them and they put them in mainstream. Although we know that people get shot every day in America. We know that people get shot probably every 5 minutes, something like that. There's probably some crazy number like that in America. People getting shot, whether they're killed or not, whether it's a hate crime or not. People are getting shot all the time. But I'm glad that for once now in history, they're showcasing that for the world to see that one, we weren't crazy. Because a lot of expats like myself that are abroad, people always wonder, why'd you go abroad? What was that about? And yeah, there was a 2008 recession when I first left, but yeah, there was racism. There was segregation, there was discrimination, and I got tired of it. I was an entrepreneur, so for me, I'm not landlocked. I can work anywhere in the world. I can do what I do anywhere in the world. But many folks can't, people. They are stuck in the States. Many folks have to live with this. When you see these things, these guys getting shot, and if you're an expat and you're watching this, you know this is very true. You don't see Kobe he didn't pass away from that. He had a natural disaster. You don't see that happening to many, many people. We know it happens to us. But what you see is the folks that you and I both know, they're not us. These guys, where are they going to go? They're stuck at home. Where is he going to go? Even if that guy got a job teaching in freaking Thailand and could change his life and work somewhere and get a great job and be out of that element, can he get a passport? Probably not, from what I read about him. Probably not. I don't think he can qualify for it. I could be wrong, but I don't think he would. So he's stuck. Millions and millions of us are stuck back home. We can't forget about these people. And we got to understand is that your vote, especially from your local voting, and you educating your family on what the world sees and that they're not crazy. Not anymore. The world sees that Black folks are going through hell back home in America. It's not an issue anymore. And they need to see that we vote. These politicians need to understand is that no, the whole world is looking, boo. Not just Americans, the whole world is looking. So keep that in mind during this, you guys. I'm so glad you guys are here. Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad you were here as well. Man, we're talking about this voting today. I want foreigners, if you guys are expats, I'm trying to get them to have awareness. So share this with your friends, you guys. Show this around and let folks know, you guys, that when it comes down to it, we represent a swing vote as expats. We do. 8.7 million is the latest number. I think that number may have been the last election. So this is like a 2016, 2017 number. They haven't done the new recent census on this yet. So the numbers are up. We represent Los Angeles, you guys, Philadelphia. That's who we represent, you guys. So keep that in mind. You guys, good morning, you guys. I appreciate that, Julius. Good morning to you as well. Alba, thank you for being here too, brother. I appreciate that. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Salamat talaga, kuya. Alba talaga. Ingaling mo talaga, kuya. If you guys are just joining in, by the way, Kareem Jackson, you guys are live on the set. I help woke entrepreneurs to minimalize their lifestyles, to outsource their business process to make more money and profit while they do it. That's my slogan. But I actually talk a lot about issues that pertain to entrepreneurs. And you may not think about this, but most expats are entrepreneurs, are diplomats, are politicians, are military, of course. And by the way, I'll tell you this too. That 8.7 number doesn't include military. Keep that in mind. Those are just people, expats. That does not include the military that are deployed around the world, who also vote, okay? And who also have families back home who vote, who also want to hear about, well, what's the world say? What's going on over there? Okay, so keep that in mind too. Good morning, you guys. I'm glad that you guys are here. Today, we are talking about the power of the absentee ballot. Voting, of course, we're specifically kind of talk to actually expats that are around the world and that want to figure out how can they vote, because a lot of you guys have been asking me and messaged me since, of course, the pandemic happened, because since the pandemic happened, a lot of the places where expats used to be able to vote or used to cast their vote, nowadays, these places aren't open. So I'm trying to figure out where they can go, how they can do it. We've got some websites and things like that. So you guys, we're gonna play another commercial here from Ti has a new spot that he did, you guys, for BET. It is kick ass. I love it, and it really just showcases how we need to understand the power of voting. And 8.7 plus million expats around the world, we need to go ahead and vote.
Police brutality, not on our watch. Poor healthcare, no sir. Our voting system is broken. It changes when we change it. We rise up as one. We speak out for our black lives. In 2020, we show up to the polls. Your vote is your microphone. So get in the booth and turn yours up. Reclaim your vote. You dig? Go to bet.com/reclaim your vote for more on how to register.
Hello, hello, good morning, Brother Harry. How are you doing? You are live, Harry Thomas. How are you, brother?
I am fine, my brother. How are you?
I am fantastic. Well, you look good.
Thank you. Thank you. Not as good as you.
Oh, black don't crack, baby. That smile don't do nothing. That smile is there forever. Everybody, this is Harry Thomas. You guys, I mentioned to you before. He's one of the former U.S. ambassadors. I'm gonna get his volume turned up here a little bit for you guys. They're telling me your volume is a little bit low here, Mr. Harry. But let me get this set up. You guys, this is a fantastic brother. I gave you the intro before, mainly talking about how he got, to me, it was a fairy tale, lifestyle, the fairy tale ending. That's what I saw. I saw a brother living the American dream, Harry. And of course, today we're talking about some things that affecting folks back home. And since you are back home, I wanted to go ahead and get folks to understand out here what's going on, bro. Can you give us a breakdown of what's really happening with between the riots and then the protest, and then now, of course, a lot of people that are messaging me are wondering what's going on with us being able to mail in ballots and vote. What do you think about that?
Well, thank you. Well, I would encourage everyone to vote, as you said. We have strong chapters of Democrats and Republicans abroad in the Philippines. They have a tradition of voting. I understand why there's some fear this year owing to the Postmaster General's actions. But please don't let his words deter you. But I would recommend that you vote early. Send your ballot in as early as you can. As Kareem so eloquently said. In terms of what's going on, I think everyone knows that we are suffering through the dual challenges of COVID-19 and law enforcement's attacks on African Americans. The latest being the shooting of Jacob Blake in front of his children that resulted in his paralysis. I really personally do not think much has changed other than the fact that we now see this on video and it leads to social protests. You saw that the NBA players held off games for a couple of nights before deciding to resume. Some baseball teams, my hometown New York Mets, tonight protested for 42 seconds in silence before they walked off. And that's significant because the great Jackie Robinson was the first African American allowed to play baseball, and his number was 42. On top of it, you have NHL hockey suspended games for playoff games for Thursday and Friday, or Friday and Saturday. And the hockey is a majority white league, although there are African Americans who play. So this shows you how much it's affecting our pro athletes and their ability to speak out and affect change. We have to commend LeBron James, who's formed a PAC to help get people to vote. He's working with the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team so people can utilize their stadium to vote. I commend him. At the same time, I was dismayed to learn that only 20% of the NBA players are registered. So I hope in the coming weeks before the deadline they will register.
I think that a lot of folks here, because you're back home in the States right now. Um, I think back here out in the world, a lot of us expats, but of course our friends, our families that are not expats, that are locals to the countries we're living in, are amazed and shocked at what's happening back home. This is 2020. I mean, it's not like it's 1960s. So this is a whole new generation of people that maybe many people even before would think, oh, well, racism was gone in America. They voted Obama in, and now the world is actually shocked. I don't know if you've been around the world lately, but you see the protests globally. Um, so being back home, Harry, now, how do you see it?
Well,
How do you
well, I
see life
think,
abroad? Go ahead.
Kareem, I think the what you saw abroad, especially after George Floyd was tragically killed, was protests in the Philippines, where people took a knee, and we commend them for that. Protests in Europe. At the same time, when people tried, the Black Haitian minority that lives in the Dominican Republic tried to protest, they were prevented from protesting. There are many countries where people cannot protest. They use the George Floyd murder to not only show their dismay in America, but in their own nations.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw that in Hong Kong. You saw that expats in Tokyo, Osaka, Okinawa, many African American, many biracial led protests. They in Osaka they expected 200. They had 2,500 people protesting what goes on in America and the challenges that the biracial community faces in Japan. Similarly, you saw that in France, where um, some of our Muslim brothers and sisters suffer, although they're French citizens. So you see people protesting rightly the challenges we face in America and the things that they are concerned about in their own nations.
Because I wish that more of us expats would realize that and see that, yeah. So that means that, I mean, I don't know what number you have currently. Maybe you can update my numbers, but my latest number was 8.7 million expats around the world. Is that kind of current sounding to you?
Yes, and you're right. I think, again, I applaud you for encouraging them to vote, to register. Uh, this is an election like no other. I really fear that we could face a lot of trouble if President Trump is reelected,
Mm-hmm.
especially minorities, immigrants, LGBTQIA community. Filipinos, I hope they understand that they've been affected. Um, the immigration has slowed down, it's being allowed, visas are slowed down. The cost of becoming a citizen, naturalization has skyrocketed and raised those prices. All those things were barriers to immigrants.
It's
Student
true.
visas are not being issued now because of COVID, although I think they could find ways to do this. So all of this is really under the guise of we do not want brown, black, and yellow people coming to America. That's what this is about. And I hope the Filipinos understand that.
I think that they do. I think that it's 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 changed for me. Like before, my show was not political at all. As you know, my radio too, it was more. You know, me, I'm a lifestyle magazine guy. But
Yes.
now the it's actually gotten to where they're a new generation, meaning 40, 45 and younger people, right, are saying, what's going on? What's happening? Recently, I had a diplomat, call him a diplomat because we're foreign, but a diplomat from Young Palace, who's in media also, whose family was denied their U.S. visas, and they already had visas.
Mhm.
And this is not a top level, like a dramatic, this is a regular working diplomat, who was shocked, like, what is that about? And mind you, for them, after they pay 10,000 pesos or $250 each, right? Then they get denied and they're shocked. And they work for the palace for 20, 30 years. So I was there. Now they're all looking, going, wait a second. So this is what the folks are protesting and talking about.
Mhm.
This is how it's affecting us, you know. And I wanted to ask you also too to explain more on that to folks. What does voting and protesting? Usually, it's black folks that they see fighting, so they really think it's a black thing. But really, if you take the color out of it in general, but even though you can't, but take the
Well,
color out.
that hasn't been true this summer.
That's why we okay.
If you look at Portland, the majority of the protesters are white.
Hmm.
When my wife and I joined the protesters outside the White House in June, the majority is multi-generational. It was multiracial, but the majority were white. The two young men who lost their lives last night in Kenosha, Wisconsin, were white. So the white Americans are seeing this also as their fight to live up to our wonderful Constitution, uh, which is something I encourage. And when you see NHL, the hockey team, the hockey players demand that they suspend their season for a couple of matches, that shows you that this is indeed an American fight. They've seen the challenges they face. Remember what happened in the beginning of COVID when people were shunning people who were Asian because they felt they would get COVID. I
Hmm.
hope they don't forget that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true because I think that a lot of them are understanding now that usually the things that are affecting us affect them, affect the world. And mind you, most of them are now they're realizing with the comments that Trump has recently said that they are brown nations. They may not have thought about that before because they're not like we are racist, minded type people. But now they're realizing, oh my God, that means us. Like, yeah, they're talking about you. So when we're fighting or we're protesting or when we're, now a lot of the locals are saying, well, where you guys need to vote, where do you need to go? Because I want to tell my friend who's an expat or my, my cousin who's an expat, they're asking me because a lot more expats are looking to do that. So specifically though, tell me a little more about what you think about what does voting and the protesting, what does that get? Like these guys that are abroad,
Well,
maybe they don't
again,
understand.
I would encourage your listeners to go on the embassy website, federal government voting website. Um, Google always has voter education programs that people can look at. But voting means you get the candidate of your choice. Um, like you said, people voted in 2008 and 2012. Frankly, the number of people, especially people of color, who voted in 2016 was way down. And that helped President Trump win a very narrow election against Secretary Clinton. But he did win. And that was because people were not motivated by Secretary Clinton. They were apathetic, or maybe some did not like her. But that resulted in a very narrow win for our president. And the elections have consequences. And maybe the Filipinos did not think it would affect them, but I think they know now.
Yeah, they've seen a lot of changes, especially in just the way the world, the way that America is right now. I mean, when they see it from the long way looking out in, this is supposed to be the beacon for their democracy.
Mhm.
So a lot of Filipinos are wondering, well, what's going to happen during our elections if COVID's here, for example? If America's showing us that, they can't get it together and they can't, and if it does come out this way or that way, no one's going to accept that it's going to be automatically questioned because of corruption or because of fraud or whatever they may say. I think a lot of like Trump doesn't realize, or anyone doesn't realize, that's a beacon for every democracy around the world.
Yeah, well, I hope that it's a landslide for Vice President Biden to eliminate any questions. Clearly, I don't know what the result will be. Uh, I think it's going to be a very close election despite um, Vice President Biden's lead.
Mm-hmm.
And optimistically, though, when you see the selection of Kamala Harris, who your good friend David Youngblood introduced me to a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
she represents America. Um, she is a woman. She is half Indian, um, half Caribbean, born in the United States, and chose to go to an African American University, Howard University, the great school, and pledge, AKA, the first and the finest sorority, as they say. But she represents what many in the Philippines should look at. A biracial person, a woman, an academic scholar, and she was a prosecutor. She was tough. She was
And
tough.
I tell folks all the time, like you guys in Asia, for example, the Philippines, they've had female presidents a long time ago. You know, it's we need to have a woman. And I guess a
Yes.
woman of color is great because then it does send that beacon here to realize she's a woman and a woman of color. So maybe we were guided more by other countries to realize women can run the country. What's the big deal?
Oh,
Why
well,
is it always so
clearly,
late?
women are very good at solving challenges, problems. They do something men like us, my brother, often do not do. They listen. They're very good in collaborating, just as Filipinos are very good in working in groups. Um, so I'm very, very supportive and appreciative of Senator Harris, but she represents the possibility. And the Indian American community is very pleased that she is running, as are the Jamaican American community.
It's true.
And they are donating money and registering uh, to support her. The Indians already vote 84% Democrat. So when I was in the Philippines, the Obama overwhelmingly won among Americans abroad. Yes, he overwhelmingly won. I do not know clearly what the makeup is now and who would win, but I have to encourage people to please vote.
I think it's a little bit mixed. I hear both. I I'm surprised at how loud the Trumpers are out here, to be honest.
Well, that's
I'm
their right.
surprised.
That's okay. And I think people have entrenched positions, and that's okay. But we lose if we don't register and we don't vote. I don't think you're going to change many attitudes today of people who support President Trump to switch them to Vice President Biden. So I would concentrate my efforts on what you have been so ably doing, Kareem, in encouraging them to vote.
I appreciate that. Appreciate. So tell me this scenario back in the States right now. So as say there's 8.7 million that can vote. Only 3 million I showed that were registered to vote on the last election, that the one that overwhelmingly voted for probably Obama that past election. Then of course his last one with Trump, with Hillary Clinton, of course. But does this mailing thing, this whole post office situation, does that affect absentee ballots abroad too, or no?
The honest answer is I don't know. I hope not.
Yeah.
We need a lot of vigilance in the post office. I have a lot of, and I have our post office at the embassy is run by the United States Navy. They're great people. When I was there, I'm sure the sailors have rotated out, but our local employees were outstanding. I'm sure they still are. We have such a large number of local employees who immigrate to America. One of my friends, Leo Campos, just written a book about Filipinos who worked in the embassy who've immigrated. And she was on CNN Philippines this week. But she's become an American citizen like so many. And I'm so pleased to see them having their chance first, for many of them, their first chance to vote in an American presidential election.
That's true. That's true. And I was telling folks, remind them that the fact that she can vote, or that many, was a protest. A lot of folks abroad forget that because they see a black person. So they automatically think that, oh, something to do with black people, black folks are mad. And even if they understand why we're mad and they believe and they support us, they don't understand, but why the protest? They say no, because this is how it's done. Terribly enough, this is how it's done. And a lot of those folks being able to vote, it comes from a protest. It wasn't given, especially women. It wasn't given to women originally. In black and minority men, it was about our color. But according to, even if it was given, say, okay, well, all the men can vote, women had to do their own protesting to get in. And it's a wonderful thing that now she can say, no, I want to vote this ticket because of Kamala Harris, for example, or because of anything. We want to hear what the women have to say. And I think that's an awesome thing. Harry, we have a couple of shout outs. David here is saying thank you to you for what you're saying. David also said very few undecideds, and yes, people vote. That's from David. Angela Johnson's also saying hello to you this morning as well. Hello, Angela. Good morning. Hope that you are there. Hello, how are you? Oh yeah, hello, Sister Angela. Yes. How are you doing? Thank you, Miss Angela. Harry, when you hear that number about the 8.7 million of expats that are abroad, and 3 million of them are just registered to vote. So that's 5.7 million of us that need to vote, that need to get registered, I guess, and start being active in our home, back home, our politics back home. What do you say to them? What can you say to get them to say, no, there's 5.7 million that are not registered to vote abroad that need to be voting? Is there any
I think you have to, first, you have to tell them how easy it is to vote, how easy it is to register, that they can choose as an absentee to vote just for the President of the United States. If they want to go that route, or they can vote in their states. I encourage them to look on the internet to see how to do it. It's very easy. And I would tell the 5 million odd Americans who are not registered why it is in their interest to vote. Often we say people died so you can vote, which is true. The great John Lewis took beatings so people could vote and eat. But with some people, that doesn't register. So what does register with you? Does it mean that you get to travel to the United States, you get to immigrate to the United States, you get to work in the United States, or that your firm abroad has the opportunity to compete for contracts in the United States, to become an alternative supply chain to the United States, to go and show your music, all these things that will help your life and your family's life. Find out what motivates them. Now, obviously, you can't do everything in your program, Kareem, but you've been doing an excellent job of telling them that they are expatriate Americans, and it is our solemn duty to vote. Let's see.
They got me turned off. I apologize, Harry. I apologize. I was giving you a good question too.
Oh, okay, I can hear you now.
I was asking when you were abroad, how did you vote? How did you do it? I mean, not for advice for others, not who'd you vote for, but how did you do it? Did you vote early? Did you do it when you went back home for a vacation? You did everything while
Yeah,
you were there? How'd you keep
like you, Kareem, I voted most of my life absentee. First, when I was in college in Massachusetts, I would vote. And the same thing when I was abroad. And I did it initially abroad. In those days, you would go down and send a letter and request an absentee ballot.
That's right.
And it worked very well. These days, you have no excuse because you have the internet. And you can request from your states very early. Now, there's not much time left. But yes, they can just go online on the embassy website. And if you do that, you're only voting, you're going to get a ballot the embassy provides for, you're only voting for the President of the United States. However, if you want to do a broader job, because the Senate and the House are equally as important in my view, then you have to ask for your state or the District of Columbia to send you ballots, and they always have. But sometimes the local mail gets messed up, and that's why we offer that alternative of just voting for the president.
Okay. Very cool. Well, I appreciate that, man. It's great to see you. I'm so glad to see you. It's been a long time. The Philippines misses you.
Well, thank you so much for
we miss
no
you.
Drama, no drama, Obama. But in closing, I would just like to give Joel my best, give him a hug, a COVID hug for me.
I will.
And I want to thank you for having the courage to become a success overseas as an entrepreneur and also as a broadcaster, and you are patriotic American. You're doing Dr. King, Maya Angelou, John Lewis, and one of our great heroes, Bayard Rustin, would be very proud of the work that you are doing. So God bless you. Salamat sa inyong lahat. And kita kits.
Thank you, brother. Have a good evening.
You too. Good night.
All right, love you, brother. Thank you.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Hey, you guys, that was Ambassador Harry Thomas, you guys. Really fantastic brother right there. Some good insights. And I hope he gave you some clarity, you guys, from someone that you can appreciate. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you guys know this, that you need to get out there and remember you're an American. Whether you're mad at America, whether you're not mad at America, whether you're taking a hiatus or a break, or whether you're in Africa or Asia or in Europe or Saudi Arabia, you have a say in what goes on to make America a better America. So then when you do decide to go back, or if you never decide to go back and you want to make it better for your family that are still there, then you have a way to do that. And as Harry said, you guys can go to the embassy website. I'll put that link in the description after the video later when we get that website link for you. But of course, you know, if you're a foreigner expat, you know the link in your head, you know it. And you can get that really quick type situation where you can vote for the president, and then later you can work on getting something where you can vote for your local elections wherever you're from. But right now, you guys understand 8.7 million of us right now here abroad, you guys, 8.7 million. And we are definitely a swing state, definitely. So if you're abroad, and especially if you're in other countries and they're not a European country or a Western country, and you're in any other country, that means you're in probably one of those shithole countries that they called it, or you're a brown, or you're a yellow or a black country. Understand something, that when it comes down to it, this is about you, because America is not a color. America's not white. America's not black. America's not yellow. America is a melting pot. That is the whole purpose of America. That's what gives us the success and the ambition. I'm sorry. I was just getting distracted by someone telling me that 8.7 million. Yes, 8.7, only 3 million vote. That's it. There's 5.7 million of us out here that are not even registered. Aren't even registered. So you guys understand that this is important. If you're abroad because you're frustrated for racism, like me, if you're abroad because you want to have business opportunities, like me, then you need to think about how you are voting. And I know many expats are Republicans, and many are Republicans who will not vote for Trump. I know that too. But understand the business situations you're talking about, the fact that America right now, if you're abroad, you know this. We depend on the credibility of our country. That's how we get around. If you're white and you're abroad and you're an expat right now, you know, and you're a white American specifically, let me be very specific. If you're a white American expat right now and you're abroad, you know everyone's asking you, especially if you live in a black or brown or yellow country, asking you what the hell is going on. So you need to understand that the way that America looks affects us, and we can vote for change even abroad has nothing to do with any local situation. We're voting for the international benefits. The fact that we want to be able to travel around the world as Americans and not be hated, not be questioned, not be ridiculed. We want to understand that we want to hold in the rights that we have gotten as minority Americans, right? And make those rights even more equal, not less equal. Why do we want to have America, for any reason, look like some war-stricken or a corrupt country on the media or on the news? You may think that they're only showcasing the negative things in America, but it shouldn't be happening at all. There is no reason that American should have troops in our streets on our own soil. That shouldn't be happening, especially when it comes to those troops fighting off other Americans, white Americans, black Americans, Hispanic Americans in general. That shouldn't be happening. 2020, we shouldn't be having to vote out a president that is a racist president, or aiding and abetting racist people to do racist things and hateful things. That shouldn't be happening. It is, but it shouldn't be happening. And as a expat, there are 5.7 million of us that are not registered to vote and do not vote. And of the 3 million who do have registration to vote or absentee ballots to vote, all of you need to vote. Don't pass this up. That's why I want to bring Harry Thomas here today, you guys, because I want you guys to see from someone who was a diplomat who served his life in service, saying, no, when he was abroad, he voted, he cared, and it does matter. He was the first Black American ambassador in the Philippines ever. Forget the fact that Muhammad Ali was Thriller Manila way back in the day. Forget all that. He was the first ambassador ever here. And if you've ever known anything about him, he made Black folks look real good. Everyone loved Harry. He was a very great beacon, the same as Obama was the first Black American president, mixed Black American president, however you want to say it. But if it wasn't for that situation, that vote for Obama, there wouldn't have been a vote for Harry. So I want to correlate those two things so people see how it works. If you're a Filipino or you're foreigner, you're not American, you're looking at this, understand that's why we protest. That's why we vote. Because we wanted to have a Black dude to have the opportunity to be an ambassador in the Philippines. That's why. And if we didn't have the vote for the presidency, then that appointment wouldn't have never happened, or designation, I guess they call it. But that designation wouldn't have happened without the vote. So you need to make sure that that happens for you. If you're a foreigner and you're no Americans, tell them to vote. Because if you go to America someday and you're LGBTQ and you want a job, ain't gonna happen if you don't vote for it. It's not given to us, people. I'm sorry. You may think that it is, but it's not. You may wonder why these NBA players are walking off and not working and walking. You may think, well, what are these millionaires and billionaire players? What are they doing? Why the hell would LeBron James do this? What is he doing? Where's my damn basketball, right? Think about this. If it wasn't for protest and voting and military action, there would be no Negroes in the NBA in the first place. He wouldn't have what he has if it wasn't for others who voted and protested, and some who probably died so he could have his Black ass in the NBA for you to enjoy around the world. That wasn't given to us. We fought for that. And as Harry mentioned, the hockey league, the baseball. I have a friend of mine listening, hopefully right now in Kansas City, Missouri, you know, whose great grandfather was one of the first baseball players of black. I think it's Jackie Robinson. I think it's his grandfather who listened to my show, is a friend of mine from back home. There was a first black player. It was not given to us, and it was a protest. We wanted fair and equal treatment. And the reason they really brought blacks into the NBA and into the NFL, to be very honest, and of course the NBA, the baseball league, sports in general in America, is for money. The Negro League was more popular than theirs. So that's why they eventually said, you know what, we can hate Negroes all we want, but they're fighting for it. Let's get them in here. And if you don't believe that's true, think about this if you're watching this. Give me one name besides Larry Bird of a non-black NBA player. Give me one in the last 2, 3 generations, 4 generations. Give me one. Thriller Manila, right? Muhammad Ali went to the Philippines protesting the Vietnam War. Besides Manny Pacquiao and Muhammad Ali, and don't name any black players, don't name any Filipino boxers, boxers. Don't name any Latinos. Name me one boxer that's not a minority. So then the day, all of those things came from voting, and it came from support, and it came from people protesting because of the inequality that they had. Do you understand that? So if you're wondering why they protest, why they vote, why these things are important to us, is because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be able to be where I am if some black person or some minority or a bunch of Americans, whites that were not racist, did not vote and did not support others before me. I wouldn't have my passport. I wouldn't be free. I wouldn't be able to travel the world. I wouldn't be on media. I wouldn't be able to wear dreads and go anywhere I want. You know, there's a law in America not to discriminate against people's natural hair, right? It's a law. That means if you're not just dreadlocks people, long hair, you may be Hispanic, you may be Asian and have curly hair. You don't need to get a rebond or a relaxer to go and get a job in America. You don't have to do that. If you're in America and you know this, people, so I'm just saying this to you out loud so you hear it from my mouth. You don't need to get lighter skin or good paint on to get a job in America because they can't legally discriminate against you because of the color of your skin. That was a vote. That was a protest. If you go to the States and you want to have 2, 3, 4 jobs, you can. If you are worried about working 6, 7 days straight and things like that with no this and no benefits, all those are votes. All of those are votes. All of those are things that someone did. And a lot of those things, I don't want to seem like I'm partial, the current administration is pushing back for rightful reasons. I understand what they're doing, but it's wrong. But I understand that they're worried because now white Americans are the minority. Minorities are the majority. And that's their fear. They know that as more and more black Americans get woke and start traveling the world and investing abroad, and now they see billionaires and millionaire players walking off of the court, not just kneeling. Because when we kneeled with Kobe, with God bless you, Kobe in heaven. When we kneeled, that wasn't enough. You didn't hear it. It went through your ears. You didn't hear it. Now they're having to walk out and take that from you. So now the whole world sees it. Anyway, you guys, you've been live on the set with Kareem Jackson. I'm so glad that you were here. And that's true, David. Black folks voting made it possible for the world. That's true. I'll mention that too. You guys, very true fact that David made me say here. I was going to end the show, but very true fact is that when it comes down to it, people like the protests of Muhammad Ali and people like that protested, black folks in general, for voting, they would not be a Manny Pacquiao in America without that protest, without those votes. They did not want Manny Pacquiao to even step foot in Las Vegas or into their arenas before. You think about history. They didn't want that to happen. There was, in a lot of these right-wing people's minds, right, What's happening is they never, ever, ever, ever intended to compete with black, brown, and yellow people and women. That wasn't the plan. You weren't the white guys on the courts for the NBA before 1950. It wasn't that long ago, okay? It's your great grandfather's generation, right? He may still be alive. I can tell you about this. It was just supposed to be white dudes. They weren't trying to level up the NBA. They weren't trying to make it global, to make it a great thing and make it what it is today. They weren't trying to have Filipinos and Africans and all of these people playing the game. That wasn't their intention. The intention was to keep it for white guys. So when it opened, including boxing, and for all of a sudden they have to box, they have to fight, Manny Pacquiao. There was a time when a white boxer would have refused to fight Manny Pacquiao. There was a time when the football teams, the NFL, the NBA, all of those people, the white teams would have refused, even college teams, high school teams during their competitions in their leagues would have refused to fight, to play against black players. Voting, protesting, and standing your ground is why today we all can enjoy this. So again, if you guys are around the world, 8.7 million of us living abroad. If you're in America and you're listening to this right now, you can join us. Entrepreneurship is great. It's racism free. But even though we've left and we're living racism free, you guys, we're able to grow. We're enjoying the conversion rate of the dollar, which is down globally because, during Trump. I will admit that. It was a lot higher. The value of the dollar was a lot higher when Obama was in office than it is right now. If you're enjoying this and you don't have to worry about it, no police are harassing you abroad. If you're black, especially, and you're abroad and you know that you're not scared of police anymore, you're not worried about being discriminated on your job anymore, maybe a little bit, but it's not like it was back home. Don't forget the folks back home, because as you see, I'm going to play this again for you guys. As you see, you guys, everybody cannot leave. Everybody does not have the luxury of being able to leave. Everyone can't leave. Everyone can't go somewhere and start. It's not possible for everyone.
You're sitting here telling me that
so if you're
there was no way
people that are out here and have forgotten that we are Americans, and as David Youngblood said, it is our patriotic duty to
detain him
in this. And it's easier for us than it is for folks back home.
Before the firing of guns.
There's no excuse anymore, like Harry said.
Then you're sitting here, you're lying to not only me, you're lying to every African American, every black person in the community.
Just go to the embassy
because we see it over and over and over. There was multiple, if you watch the video, there was multiple moments
and figure out
where if they wanted to, they could have attacked them. They could have grabbed them.
That much damn time.
They could have done that.
To do that
and why
today?
Why does it always have to get to a point
so
where
Monday, get off your butt?
We see the guns fired, and his family is there, the kids are there.
The embassy, matter of fact, it's morning time.
Broad
here,
daylight.
right? So you got all day
and
to do this.
And who knows? I mean, if that video is not being taken by that person across the street,
left the States.
Do we even know if we can see that video?
You overused it. That's what you did. You shot him numerous times for no reason. It didn't take all that. Disregard that my kids was in the car at all. And you knew they was in there because I kept screaming that before y'all even made it to the other side of the driver's side to get him in the car. I've been yelling that the whole time. Let me get my kids.
It's just
see you. You're an influencer.
Quite frankly,
I mean, black folks, white folks, Mexican folks, Americans in general.
And us, I know people get tired of hearing me say it, but we are scared.
This crap on the screen
in America
is happening.
Black men, black women, black kids.
And everybody is
we are terrified.
They don't have, if you know this, if you're a felon, if anything happened to you, and I believe this is the case for Mr. Jacob, he couldn't get a passport. He is stuck in that crap.
Shit!
And now he's paralyzed from the waist down. But maybe his kids.
He's trying not to use his gun.
I want to get a passport. I want to get out of this. I want to do more than just leave the hood. Maybe But understand, just because we left the hood doesn't mean that we can't care about the hood, we can't care about where things are going through. My family is in Kansas City, Missouri. My mother's in Kansas City, Kansas. And I don't mean Overland Park. I mean KCK. That's where they're from. My grandmother was off Paseo in the projects. That's where we're from. These videos are from places like that. This girl on the screen right here, this is every cousin, every niece, every neighbor in my hood is just like her. And they had a nice car. Somebody working. 3 kids. All got clothes. So if you can see these NBA players walking out, if you see it's serious back home, this election is not about Trump and Biden. This is about going back to that racist ass crap of 1950, 1960, and continuing going forward with the equality in mind. Harry said his wife is voting her first election. Trump's wife is probably voting her first election. Whether you like them or not, they couldn't do that. Women couldn't vote before we voted for women to vote. And they sure in the hell couldn't vote as immigrants. So now that they can, we don't want to back up. If you want America to be better so that eventually someday you can go back home and you can regain your life, then you need to vote back home. We are an expat. We are a swing state. We represent the voters' size. Like, we don't represent the city, but we represent the size and the impact of Los Angeles. You saw that. Philadelphia, Tucson, Arizona. Okay? Those are big cities, you guys, if you're abroad. So tell your American friends, tell your folks to go ahead and to vote. Don't forget this, you guys, right here. I'm going to go ahead and play this one more time, you guys, so you see it, because I don't want you guys to forget what we are up against right now. So you guys, I don't want you to forget this. I want you to understand this brother right here. Don't judge him like they do. Maybe, yes, he has a criminal record. Obviously, I can see he was partying, having a good time. It was the damn weekend. But that is no reason. You're telling me that if you're black in America, this is your death sentence for you? Having a few drinks, getting a little high, whatever, having a record, that's a death sentence now? That shouldn't be the case. In case you forget, here is one more time. And folks wonder why we're protesting, why you're voting, you guys. You wonder why it is? This is why, you guys. This is here showing you that what happens when a white guy is pulled over by the police. Yes. And what happens when a black guy? They're giving you the comparison to understand why we're worried, why things, and we don't understand why is that. Why is it that you can do all of this stuff and be so conscious of white guys when they get pulled over, but when black guys get pulled over, we get treated differently. That's the issue for us. Amazing. Amazing. Anyway, you guys, Kareem Jackson live on the set. I'm so glad you guys were here. You guys can see this all on the replay. We get to touch base with you later on again. You guys can see more of the show, the replay at KareemAntonio.com. You guys, you can check us out there. You can always email the show at ask@KareemAntonio.com. And you guys, my new ebook is out, as you guys know. I'm telling folks about how I got free, how I got my business outsourced, how I got my life together. And I'm going through and telling you all about that in my new ebook, you guys. I want you guys to check this ebook out. It's really phenomenal. It's really, really great. So we're going to go ahead and close the show out, you guys. I thank you guys very much. I'm going to play this vote commercial again, you guys. You can go here to the BET vote area, or you can actually go ahead, like Harry said, and go to the American Embassy and figure out what they can do for you. If it was me, I'd go to the embassy because you have someone that you can follow up with. But in the day, you guys, we've got to get out and we have got to vote.
Police brutality, not on our watch. Poor healthcare, no sir. Our voting system is broken. It changes when we change it. We rise up as one. We speak out for our black lives. In 2020, we show up to the polls. Your vote is your microphone. So get in the booth and turn yours up. Reclaim your vote. You dig? Go to BET.com/reclaim your vote for more on how to register.
Hey, you guys, Kareem Jackson, you were live on the set, and I've got some news to tell you. 10 years ago, I left California, USA on the beach, and I got on a plane. I went to the tropics, and I reinvented myself. I wanted to turn my dreams into reality. I had a great time, great friend. I published magazines, books. I meditated. I sipped coconuts, you guys. I had tattoo competition, weekly shows, and I want you guys to know I sat down, and I wanted to write step by step how I did it. How did I get free? How did I outsource everything? How did I get to where I could run my company from my laptop? and now I finished it. It is done. My new book, you guys, Outsource Everything, is out now. I finished it. I'm telling you all about how I gained my freedom, how I live in the tropics next to the beach in a beautiful lifestyle, and I still run my business. I outsource everything. My new ebook, it's out now, you guys. It's available right now, you guys. I made it to where freedom is here for you. You can get the same freedom that I did. It's totally possible and it's totally doable. And this has never been a better time than to do it. Grab my new ebook, Outsource Everything, on Google Play and the App Store, you guys. And of course, KareemAntonio.com/my ebook. Outsource Everything. Outsource Everything, How to Be a Minimalist CEO by Kareem Jackson. An introduction for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Presented by I got on a plane, I went to the tropics, and I reinvented myself. I wanted to turn my dreams into reality. I had a great time, great friend. I published magazines, books. I meditated. I sipped coconuts, you guys. I had tattoo competition, weekly shows, and I want you guys to know I sat down and I wanted to write step by step how I did it. How did I get free? How did I outsource everything? How did I get to where I could run my company from my laptop? And now I finished it. It is done. My new book, you guys, Outsource Everything, is out now. I finished it. I'm telling you all about how I gained my freedom, how I live in the tropics next to the beach in a beautiful lifestyle, and I still run my business. I outsource everything. My new ebook, it's out now, you guys. It's available right now, you guys. I made it to where freedom is here for you. You can get the same freedom that I did. It's totally possible and it's totally doable. And this has never been a better time than to do it. Grab my new ebook, Outsource Everything, on Google Play and the App Store, you guys. And of course, KareemAntonio.com/my ebook. Outsource Everything. Outsource Everything, How to Be a Minimalist CEO by Kareem Jackson. An introduction for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Presented by K & Co America and the Chongson Group.
To break free.
Oh my God, you guys are still here. Hey, okay, you guys, I'm so glad you're still here. I'm so glad you stuck around to the end because I want to show you some more about my book. I'm so excited about this. Outsource Everything, out now, you guys. It's out now. Go grab it. On my website, you guys, KareemAntonio.com. You can go to the App Store, any of these places, and go grab it. I want you to sit down, ponder this, and think about, why do I have the stress I have? Why am I working so hard? Why am I a slave to my business? Why do I not have more freedom? There's folks all over the world looking that can outsource to you. I'm going to introduce you to this, tell you why you don't need that new car, you don't need that bling bling, you don't need that house right now. Outsource everything. Get free. What good is that money? What good is all that fame and fortune if you are working every day like it's a job? Freedom is here. It's here for you, you guys. Grab my ebook, you guys. Outsource Everything. Google Play, the App Store, and of course, KareemAntonio.com/my ebook. Go grab it, you guys.
There we go, you guys. Thank you very much. I'm so glad you guys are here. Again, you guys, thanks again for this great show. Hope it was a great show for you. As you guys know, we record these live on the set, you guys, every week, and then we take it to our team, and they edit this down and make a great, cute little 30, 45-minute show from it. So you guys can tune back in for the replay, or you guys can see the full episode on our website, KareemAntonio.com. And again, thank you guys very much, and the show is over. And you guys, I love you. Thank you. And if you guys are wondering about this, by the way, here, let me show you this to you real quick. If you guys are wondering about this right here, the ebook is on Google Play and the App Store. You guys can grab that there. So go ahead and grab it if you guys want to learn about how I did this, how I live the way I live. So again, Kareem Jackson live on the set. Have a good day, you guys.